You're watching ABC 7 News at 6.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us tonight. Our top story at 6, a warning to parents to monitor your child's online activity.
This comes after a registered sex offender was arrested for traveling from Plant City to Sarasota to have sex with an 11-year-old girl. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick joins us tonight to explain how deputies caught the predator and what parents can do to make sure their children are being safe online. Jess?
Jacqueline, Scott, it started as a relationship online and led to a 30-year-old sex offender driving an hour and a half to meet and have sex with an 11-year-old on her way to school. When the victim's mother found sexually illicit pictures on her daughter's phone, she called police.
Is Stephen Roa, a convicted sex offender in Hillsborough County. Sarasota County Sheriff's Office deputies say Roa used social media to meet his alleged 11-year-old victim.
They have been communicating on Bigo Live, which is a live platform, and then it transferred over to Snapchat, and then it transferred over to their regular text message, regular phone use for approximately 2 months.
Deputies say on August 22nd, Roa met the victim in a parking lot during her walk to school, where the two engaged in sexual activities. The next day, deputies say the victim's mother found sexually illicit pictures exchanged between the two on her daughter's cell phone. She called police, and that led to Roa's arrest. Tonight, deputies are warning parents, look at your child's cell phone.
To be honest, we don't know all the apps either. Just because they look like a calculator doesn't mean that it's used for adding and subtracting. Some of those are live platforms that as soon as you click on it, you can talk to anybody in the world live.
Deputies say monitor these apps and social media sites as often as possible.
Most sex offenders are able to use the internet and have social media platforms. They just are required to report those social media sites.
Roa disclosed some of his social media accounts to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, but not his Bigo Live or Snapchat accounts that he used to contact the victim. Roa faces a third-degree felony charge for that.
Deputies are not disclosing what school this child went to, only that it's in Sarasota County. The investigation is ongoing. At this point, it's unclear if there are any other victims. Scott.
All right, Jess, thank you so much. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies going to extreme lengths to arrest a man suspected of drunk driving. Deputies tried to stop 38-year-old Sean Thomas on US 301 just after 1 o'clock this morning. They say Thomas refused to stop, so deputies used stop sticks to blow out the tires. Deputies say Thomas refused to get out of the car and then fought with deputies. They used a taser, but say it had little effect on him. He was eventually handcuffed and arrested. A donation to a Sarasota thrift store triggers a drug investigation. Sarasota police say this plastic bin was dropped off at the Pines thrift shop on North Orange Avenue sometime between Wednesday and Friday of last week. An employee opened it up Saturday and found 4 vacuum-sealed bags inside. He cut into one of them and found marijuana and then called police. Turns out the bin contained nearly 5 pounds of marijuana. Police are now going through surveillance video to see if they can figure out who dropped off that bin.
After last week's shooting at a Jacksonville high school football game, Manatee County School District says they're increasing security at games. The district says they are no longer allowing backpacks or large purses inside the stadium, only clutches. Every game will have at least 4 sheriff's officers and SROs. And because of the Jacksonville shooting, the district says that they are making sure to pay more attention to the parking lot.
We're just putting a greater emphasis on making sure we have a bigger presence in the parking lot before and after games, making sure people aren't hanging around the perimeter of our facilities, and getting them in and out as clean and quickly as we can.
The district says tonight's game at Manatee High School against Palmetto will have 6 to 7 officers. Patrol units and Palmetto will be bringing their SRO as well.
Well, everyone wondering about the weather this evening if you're heading out to a high school football game. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
It's looking pretty good right now for the start of the game. So we had that big line move through, impressive rainfall rates, also a lot of lightning strikes. for the most part, that has since moved on to the northwest of Pinellas County. There's still a chance for a few pop-up showers, though. It doesn't appear that we're going to see anything widespread or intense like we saw earlier. You can see that light rain still lingering across portions of East Manatee County and Sarasota County. And then notice this, just one shower kind of popped up here recently just to the east of Minnesota. That is pushing off to the west-northwest, but it was getting a little stronger about 10 minutes ago, and now it's weakening. You can see the past 6 hours, rainfall totals very impressive here along the west coast of Florida, right where they don't need the rain. They've had the most right around Venice and Nokomis, up to 2.5 inches of rainfall there, estimated by the Doppler radar site. And a viewer in Venice reporting 3 inches of rain. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. And we're looking at the potential for a tropical wave. What that means is a line of low pressure with the tropical moisture with it. And that usually indicates pretty heavy downpours. We're talking torrential rains. That comes into play on Labor Day and on Tuesday. Flood warnings are out for a lot of the rivers around town. The Manatee River at the Myakka Head, also the Myakka River at the Myakka State Park, as well as Horse Creek and Peace River. Now, the headlines read like this: looking pretty good for football Friday night. A brief shower, not out of the question, but nothing severe as far as that goes. I don't think there'll be any delays. Flooding concerns through the weekend as that tropical moisture will still be around, and we'll have much more on all that. And the Pacific still very active. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. The rain has been impacting many activities across the area this week. The Bobby Jones Golf Club in Sarasota forced to close early again today. Course workers blamed the heavy rainfall and lightning. The city-owned course will reopen tomorrow morning, though, at 6:30 a.m., just in time for the holiday weekend.
Well, we've seen the effects of red tide on the water, on sea life, and even our birds here on the Suncoast. But how has it impacted mangroves? ABC 7's Rick Adams joins us live from the Sarasota Bayfront tonight with a closer look at that aspect of red tide. Rick?
Yeah, Jacqueline, good evening. These mangroves are such an important part of Florida. One expert tells us that mangroves are okay with the normal red tide, but this red tide has been anything but normal. Mangroves coexist with over 300 species of wildlife, including game fish, and we're being told the loss of a lot of that wildlife has probably been the biggest impact, which could eventually harm the mangroves.
I'm optimistic that the mangroves will be fine and that the species will recover and that we'll just carry on as usual after this incident. But, you know, if it happens year after year like it seems to have been happening, it's anybody's guess.
And Mele went on to say that enough studies haven't been done on this, but he's very hopeful that's going to change very soon. Reporting live from Sarasota, I'm Rick Adams. Back to you.
Okay, Rick, thank you. Florida Fish and Wildlife officials waiting to hear exactly what killed a manatee found off of Anna Maria Island. FWC says the manatee's body was found earlier this week and then taken back to its marine mammal lab for a necropsy. Here are some photos from that rescue. Right now they're waiting on the lab results to find out the cause of death, but preliminary tests show it could be red tide related.
Conditions are improving along local canals as crews continue their cleanup efforts. All the canals we checked out today showing less dead fish compared to the last few weeks. Earlier this week, Manatee County announced it will not be using a contractor anymore to clean up dead fish. County now using a program called Nets to Neighbors, where residents can now pick up buckets and shovels to help with any further cleanup needed.
It's been a pretty inspirational effort to see not only county staff, but neighbors themselves and volunteers help, and you know, everybody's pulling in the same direction on this, and we want to see the, you know, these are our treasured resources, and everybody wants to see the beaches and shores clear and clean as quickly as possible. So it's pretty special to see everybody pulling in that direction.
Manatee County officials say conditions have also improved on our local beaches. Coquina Cortez beaches clean of dead fish today. The Bayside, the North and South Coquina Beach boat ramps, and Bayfront Park all have a moderate amount of seaweed and dead fish. Manatee and Sarasota counties will be getting more money from the state to help with the red tide recovery. $750,000 will go to Manatee County, $1.1 million to Sarasota County. That's in addition to the $1 million the Department of Environmental Protection already committed to Sarasota County. The additional funding brings the total up to $9 million in funding from the DEP to all counties along the West Coast in need. Still to come in your Suncoast News, less than 1 week after a deadly shooting at a video game competition, one of the victims is now taking legal action.
And what you can expect on the roads and in the air if you plan to travel this Labor Day weekend.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
My California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Attention. On January 1st, 2018, the United States Tax Cut Act officially became law. This law also changes Obamacare. If you are uninsured or struggling to afford your current health insurance, there is now immediate relief. Health insurance that's not high-priced Obamacare is now available. Call the Health Insurance Helpline now. It's free. The cost for health insurance has been a serious problem in America, but now the law has changed. So many people don't get the insurance they need because they just don't call. Don't spend money you don't have to spend. Call now. It's free. If you are uninsured or unable to pay for ACA coverage, call the Health Insurance Helpline now. Get what you deserve. Call to see if you qualify for health care or dental coverage that starts immediately. Don't delay. Call now. It's free. Call 800-307-8167. 800-307-8167. Call 800-307-8167 now.
The first lawsuit linked to last weekend's fatal shooting at a gaming tournament in Jacksonville has been filed. Attorneys for Jacob Middich say the Jacksonville landing site was not as safe as it should have been. The suit also claims local officials did not provide proper security for the event. 24-year-old David Katz fatally shot 2 people in the back of the restaurant there. He then took his own life. There's no word yet on any possible motive. Happening today in Orlando, Florida Democrats are celebrating the 2018 general election ticket. We had record-breaking Democratic turnout for the primary election in Florida. So today, Democrats came together to celebrate their general election nominees. U.S. Senator Bill Nelson is joining gubernatorial Democratic nominee Andrew Gillum while talking about how to build a stronger Florida.
New at 6, watch as the Coast Guard medevacs a pregnant woman from a Carnival cruise ship. It all happened about 100 miles southwest of Key West. A helicopter crew arrived on scene, lifted the patient, and transported her to receive medical services. She was later taken to the hospital there in Key West.
Coast Guard. They have a hard job, but they do it well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are looking at some rough weather for folks on cruises in the Florida Straits, also near the Bahamas over the upcoming days as a result of this tropical wave, which is expected to move in that direction. We have also had some red tide reports come out from the FWC. This is the latest. There are some changes. Now, this is the map. Hillsborough included in that 145-mile stretch of coastline that's under that red tide alert. Now, as far as the counties that are improving, Manatee, look at that. They had a 25% or even greater lower concentration. There are no high concentrations reported in Manatee County. That's a change, as well as Collier County. And in Lee County, pretty much the same as it has been, hasn't changed much there. But Hillsborough County now included in that 5 to 25% higher, as well as Sarasota and Charlotte counties, unfortunately. Now, as far as the map goes, showing the different concentrations, you'll still see some red there in Sarasota near Siesta Key, stretching down toward Casey Key, and then some activity southward. We're talking moderate to low levels being detected all the way down near Venice. But there's fewer reds here, although, as I showed you there, there's a 5 to 25% increase in the concentration. And offshore, we're starting to see a little bit more, too. And that's a key point there. The red tide actually starts offshore about 10 to 40 miles, and we're starting to get a little bit more off of Pinellas County as well. The drift has been to the northwest temporarily. It'll stay that way too due to the southeasterly wind flow. Well, the rain has been heavy at times across parts of the Sun Coast, and now we're starting to see a little bit of clearing off in the distance that you see right there. Still some light showers lingering, and they will do so. We're not expecting any kind of lightning delay for the games tonight, but I would suspect to see some light rainfall at times. I want to share this real quickly. This is Mindy Towns getting this panoramic shot of a shelf cloud coming into Lakewood Ranch earlier today. A spectacular shot right there. And there's the lightning and heavy rain all the way up into the Big Bend area. Still some activity out there in the Straits of Florida, down near the Keys and off the coast of Naples, but there's not a lot going on here. And you'll see the general trend. We had a few showers, and as they move off to the northwest, they weaken. That means the air here is stabilizing, and that should hold true for at least the next couple of hours. Later in the game, we may see a pop-up shower here and there, but not a lot. Well, the Futurecast is showing this line of low pressure moving through. We'll take you through time. This is Monday at, again, right around noon, and as it moves off to the northwest, you'll start to see that rain pick up throughout Monday afternoon, Monday night, and even into Tuesday. A good chance for showers and storms over a widespread area as that low pressure area kind of moves off toward the northwest. It's going to try to close as it heads off to the west. There's a chance it could. The Euro's now starting to show a closed low up near Louisiana. Even if it did, it wouldn't be a very significant storm at this point, so not a big concern as far as that wave goes for us. Well, in the tropical tracker, we're watching what could soon be Florence. Florence is going to be a well-behaved storm, though. It's going to stay out there in the open waters of the Atlantic over the next 5 days. It will become a hurricane, we do believe, as it makes its way off to the west-northwest. Top winds are at 35 now. As I mentioned, it will be moving off in a west direction. Well, the Atlantic has been relatively quiet. The Pacific, unbelievably active. Got to look at this. So we have Miriam now, Category 2. That's moving north, away from Hawaii. This one, Norman, up to a Category 3, expected to be the strongest hurricane of the season as it makes its way off toward the west. That one bears watching down the road for the possibility of having an impact on Hawaii. It's still a long way off. 74 degrees right now. We have some high clouds and some sunshine around as well. The relative humidity at 93%. The high was 90 today. The low was 72. And as far as rainfall at the airport goes, 1,700ths of an inch. We're still, if you can believe it, 4.52 inches below normal at the airport. Venice, Nokomis, Palmer Ranch area, as well as Lakewood Ranch and Heritage Harbor above average for the month. And as far as the forecast goes tomorrow, we'll look for a heat index up near 100, with a good chance for showers and storms developing in the afternoon and evening. Not as good as we've seen, though, but they'll still be around. East winds turn to the southeast. We'll have 15 knots to start today, 5 to 10 in the afternoon. The extended forecast then calling for, there's Labor Day now, back where it belongs. 70% chance for showers and storms on Monday and Tuesday as well. The best chances will be those 2 days, but we'll still see, even after it moves through, pretty good chances for those afternoon storms. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Get ready to see more traffic and higher gas prices this holiday weekend. About 2 million Floridians are expected to hit the road for Labor Day. It's also going to cost more to fill up your gas tank. Gas prices have barely budged this summer, with the national average for regular hovering around $2.85 a gallon since mid-June. That's down slightly from a high of nearly $3 at the end of May, but it's still about 43 cents a gallon more than drivers paid this time last year. Analysts warn that Americans should not expect much relief beyond Labor Day. And local airports say they're expecting an average Labor Day weekend. Both Sarasota Bradenton International and Tampa International airports say they will have the same amount of flights this week as usual. Tampa International reports it's expecting to continue the busy trend and says it has already experienced record-breaking traffic this year. They're expecting to see 190,000 passengers for the extended weekend. Good news for passengers catching flights out of Tampa. A majority of the construction there is wrapping up and more restaurants are now open. Well, if you're a fan of University Parkway's Diverging Diamond Interchange, you're not alone. The Florida Department of Transportation's project has been named one of the top 12 transportation projects in the country in America's Transportation Awards. The number of crashes in that area have been reduced by about half since its opening. FDOT now wants to improve safety at other intersections in our area and plans to build more diverging diamond interchanges along Fruitville, Bee Ridge, and Clark roads.
Well, we want to say good luck tonight to a group of students from Manatee County who are heading to Singapore next week. They're taking part in the 2018 F1 in Schools World Finals. It's a competition teaching students a new way to learn about STEM-related subjects. Students from Palmetto Southeast and Braden River High Schools make up the team from Manatee County. They will face off against 51 teams from 23 countries from around the world during next week's Formula One race in Singapore.
Best of luck to them.
Yeah. We'll be right back with more news.
Tonight, a nation pays its final respects. John McCain lies in state at the U.S. Capitol. Plus, as millions make their Labor Day escape, the holiday weather forecast. World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
Get more for your money during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Sunset Subaru. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Outback is an IIHS top safety pick for 10 years running. Lease a new Subaru Outback today for just $249 a month or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
We've been fighting the war on drugs for a long time. We answer the phone 24/7, 365 days a year. On a busy night, we answer hundreds of calls. This war on drugs needs our intervention.
Since 2014, Addiction Hope and Helpline has helped people struggling with drugs and alcohol.
When the phone rings, we help people when they need it the most. When we get a caller into treatment, it feels right. It feels good. It's a blessing.
If you're struggling, drinking, using, and need to get clean, don't suffer alone in silence. Call Addiction Hope and Helpline.
Our people understand, and many are also in recovery. Call for support and strength. You can call for someone who can't or isn't willing. It's an act of love. Together we can help you beat this thing and erase addiction from your vocabulary once and for all.
Call 800-871-1644. 800-871-1644.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
For many kids, Disneyland is the happiest place on earth, and it's about to get a lot happier for some adults who will be able to buy alcohol in the park. The private Club 33 in New Orleans Square is currently the only place to get booze between rides at Disneyland in California, but starting next year, visitors will have another option for libations. Alcohol will be served at Oga's Cantina, and then it will be part of the Star Wars Galaxy Edge, which is a new Star Wars themed section of the park coming later.
Interesting. I think Disney World does the same thing here in Orlando.
Yeah, $20, 16 ounce probably. I don't know. We'll see.
True.
Have a great weekend and a night ahead.